So I make a distinction between living teaching and dead ones. And the living teaching is alive in the moment. It comes forth out of what is happening in the moment. It is without dogma, it is without any claim of truth, inherent claim of truth in its pointers. And therefore, the pointers can change moment to moment in accordance with what is happening. It is not a simple repeating of concepts, as happens in more religious, corporatized processes, teachings. They're essentially dead. They're just a repetition of the distilled moment in which a living teaching was brought forth. It was then distilled, conceptualized, canonized, structured.
Even all the Vedas, all the Upanishads.
All the Vedas, all the Bibles, all the sutras, in all the religions. That's the process. And so you have a teacher like Ramana Maharshi, for example, and his teaching was a very living teaching. And so he did not simply, if someone, a peasant, poor person comes to them, and I mean, they're not educated, they're just people from the village, may have come a long distance and said, "Bhagwan, my child is sick. Can you help?" I mean, he didn't say, "Ask yourself whose child it is that is sick." You know, he's not giving them a more deep and fundamental kind of approach. He would say, he says, yes, you know, do this japa and this puja, you know, and things will be better. And the teaching in that moment was that, you know, do japa, do puja for that person in that situation. Because it was alive. Now, the ones who are sitting there, you know, writing down what the guru said and putting it into books and things, they've got 800,000 pages of transcript, and they distill it into a teaching. So, you know, so what Bhagwan says is this is the important teaching. This is the real teaching. You know, this is the essential teaching, and that's what you get. And so, you know, self-inquiry and who am I and all of that as the teaching. But it when it was happening was far, far more alive and profound than that.
So how do you write your books and keep it alive?
The books are essentially dead. You don't.
You can't.
You
right?
can't.
You can't.
You cannot. Now, at best, the books, as carry the seed of the teaching in them. It's in there. Now, whether you resonate with that, whether that becomes alive for you or not is part of the living experience that you're having as a seeker. So once again, I'm not saying, well, the books are dead, the books aren't true, throw the books out, stop talking. It's only in silence that teaching happens. It's not true. It is simply to recognize that the books and the talking are not the truth. They are pointers. And their value is only to the extent that they are alive for you. And by alive meaning that they point you to look at something. So that when you read it, that living connection happens. So it is not about absorbing the knowledge that can then be spit back out as the teaching or the understanding. It is truly about that recognition, that seeing it. And the seeing is the expansion. These various concepts may trigger a kind of expansion. And what one it is, who knows? It is one in which there is an opening. Now, this is different than simply being a sop, and making you feel okay for a minute. I'm not talking about that. That's a different process. And what I'm really concerned with, and which is this living energy of expansion.
What's a sop? What do you mean by that?
By a sop means it briefly takes away a pain, for example. Okay. It's the example. It's all the functioning of totality. So so the pain, or it's all unreal. So my pain is unreal, and it's cool. But that and that happens. I mean, people go, oh, okay, well, this is all for my higher good, or this is all, and that concept in that moment relieves the pain briefly, momentarily. That's the side. What I'm concerned with is an expansion in which there is a greater seeing, which is inclusive. It doesn't fix that problem per se. It is a changing of context in which, from this broader seeing, that problem you have or that situation may be seen in a new way, but as part of the recognition of what is. And that's the distinction I was making there.